What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in a car mechanic simulator with me, the virtual mechanic, and today's project, this beautiful Land Rover Defender 90 from 2015 with only 62,000 kilometers on it and 123 horsepower from that i4 engine, which does have a turbocharger. This is a bit of a cool looking engine, not much to it. We are going to add performance parts to this today, squeeze as much horsepower as we can out of this beast of an engine. Now this car is pretty complete, it's in very good condition. We are going to get it cleaned, we are going to get all these panels up to 100%, all the frame up to 100%, and everything finished off, so this Land Rover is 100% sorted. There aren't many body options that we can do with this one today. In fact, there aren't any, just replacing the panels or repairing the panels. Windows and doors and the lights on here, nothing at all special. Can't even put any additional body parts on this one, so we won't be doing that today. But let's get this started and let's get it over to the car wash and get this Land Rover cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash. It is already pretty clean, so there's no point guessing colours on it. Just has one odd body panel there, nothing special. Let's get the interior cleaned up as soon as this wants to work. There we go. And we'll get it back on the lift and we'll get that engine and gearbox all ripped out and we'll start tearing this car down. Here we are underneath the Land Rover. I do like how this one's set up with the angled drive shaft, that nothing quite sits central, it's all off center, and I really love that. Let's start getting this exhaust off, and then we can work on getting this drive shaft, or these drive shafts and gearboxes out. Nice and easy here. Is this one just a pull-out one? Yes, yes it is. Get this transfer case coming off here. Find the starter, hiding away back there. And then off comes the gearbox. That was relatively pain-free. There is an oil pan, so we do need to grab the oil drain. Let's get you over and underneath. Let's get you drained out. Lovely and clean, brand new oil there. Nothing to use, a lot of it as well. I have already drained all the other bits from the engine, so let's get this car down on the ground. Grab the crane and let's get the engine lifted out and we can start stripping this Land Rover down. That came out nice and easy, always good to see. Nice, nice, nice. Let's start with the body panels. Let's just get going. I'm going to get all of this done and I'll see you guys in a few moments. The body is completely dismantled. Let's get it back in the air and start getting this suspension taken off. Nothing too fancy here, I don't think. Oh, completely fixed. Don't see this very often. That's quite cool. Looking forward to seeing that. Let's have a look at the back end. And again, another fixed rear axle. One with not too many bushings, just one solid axle control arm, and then the axle itself. So I'm going to get on and get all of this dismantled, and I'll see you guys at the engine bay. Just thought I'd quickly show you this front steering knuckle. I've never seen this one before. It is a bit of a weird concept. You have to come around the back and take off the back plate before you can actually take off the steering knuckle. I've just never seen that one before. Thought it was a little bit weird. But anyway, that is all the suspension off. I've even got the fuel tank out of the car. As I did say earlier, everything in this engine bay has been drained already to make my life a little easier. So let's jump in, let's get some of these clips off, let's get this stripped down, get that battery on charge, and then we'll start tearing down that engine. So I'm going to crack on with this, and I'll see you guys at the engine bay in a few minutes. Everything is now stripped off, let's just get this battery on a charge, get the engine on the engine stand, and let's start tearing it down. Now we did already work on one very similar to this on the last video in the Nissan. That was an i4 engine, it wasn't very similar. So there'll probably be a lot of similarities between the two. So let's just get some of this basic stuff off, have a look at some of the internal workings of this engine. I say some of this basic stuff, there is a lot of it on this engine. There is a lot going on here. I just want to get that cover off. There we go. Let's get this off. What's we got under here? Timing chains, timing shoes, some gears and stuff. Oh, these are different fuel injectors. Not seen these ones before. Wonder if they can be upgraded. Get the cover off the top here. Let's have a look at the internals. Nice. Solid rail. And then double overhead cams on there. So you've got 2 camshafts. Nice and simple to get all of this off. So I'm going to crack on and just get the rest of this taken off. And hopefully we'll find out what can be repaired and what can be upgraded. Might take me a little bit longer than usual, but let's just get stuck in. Here we are then. Everything stripped off of the Land Rover Defender 90. Bare frame, absolutely nothing on it. Looking quite nice though. I do like this white carpet that they've done on the inside. It looks pretty sweet. Now this frame isn't too bad, 83%. Let's get it up to 100. 1400, not too bad. Nicey, nicey. We'll get the welder put away and we'll start getting the body back together. In fact, this time I'm going to start with the interior. Let's get the new interior in. Now I have just stuck with the same Defender seats and Defender steering wheel because we do like a little bit of originality. But now let's go to the body panels. Now you can't do much for these body panels, so I'm just going to go around and get all of these on and then we'll get ready to go over to the paint shop. Now, for the license plate on these, I've gone for the license plate Man of Steel, the Superman ones. There is an option when you buy these to buy them blank or buy them with text or customize them. And I was actually having that conversation on Discord a few days ago with everybody, saying how show plates would be cool, especially with the new car locations. Well, these ones are show plates. You don't have to have any text on them at all. They are blank, completely blank, and they are available in the Steam workshop. So go check them out. I will try and remember to leave a link to the description to that in the description below. Anyway, let's get over to the paint shop. Here we are then. Paint-wise, I've gone for this kind of army colour green, I'm going to call it. Obviously, we've got all the plastic bits on here, all the black metal and the plastic black on there. Sticking around, we're obviously going to try and incorporate a bit of that into the colour scheme. Maybe not the plastic, but the plain blacks there. We're going to get some of that on the underside, make it look rugged and solid. Same with the engine bay. There's already green in there, so we're going to try and throw a little bit of black in there. We will do a green engine cover to match that, but I'm probably going to try and black out the rest of the engine or go for that sort of chromed sort of grey look that we went for on the Nissan. That was quite nice and probably would match the plastic. So that may be what we do. Undecided yet, but this is the painted car. I kind of love it in this sort of like retro army green. We're going to tint out the windows to make it look cool. But let's get on. Let's get the suspension in and ready to get this car finished. Here we are then, back with the suspension. I've gone up for black struts and the sort of military colour green springs on there. I think they look pretty good, quite closely matched to the car. There's a few other bits painted underneath, nothing too special. I've mostly gone for some blacks, some dark greens, and some greys. Obviously that in the dark green there, looking pretty nice. And then these weird covers obviously can't be painted. Let's get these on. Let's get the suspension on. Let's have a few bits on that are painted. Looking nice. That's not too bad. Quite happy with that. Oh, not used to this front end. It is a weird setup. These are painted. These are in this sort of grey colour, along with the underplates and the pins that go over the top. Looking quite nice. The only other thing on here painted is the brake calipers, which I think look quite nice. They're in a lighter green. They match the springs, and even though it is a lighter green, it does still just about match that. So I'm going to get on and get the rest of this front end all finished up, and I'll meet you back at the back end in a moment. Back end is back together. I've gone for the black shocks, the light green on the springs, along with the light green on the calipers, the dark green throughout, and then the greys on this. I've also done the fuel tank in the grey as well, looking pretty nice. And these, obviously, you just saw these solid control arms, but they're in this sort of matte grey colour. I really like how it's turned out. I actually think it sort of complements really well with the dark and the light greens on there, from the sort of military styling, looking quite smart. I wanted to do something more with these shocks, but I just decided to go with a gloss black in the end. Everything else is a pretty matte or a solid colour, whereas them shocks are the gloss blacks. But I quite like how it's turned out. The greens are looking really nice. I'm happy with that. I'm going to get on and get this finished, and we'll jump in and get that engine bay sorted out. Here we are then to get the engine bay sorted. Now, first of all, I've gone for a light green on the fuse box casing there. I've also gone for a matte black on the air filter housing and covering with some contrasting light green clips, just because I like to do the contrast on there. Like how they've turned out, looking really smart. Nice, nice. Let's get the rest of this back in. I did take the battery off of charge, so I'm going to get all of this back on, and then we're going to jump over and we're going to have a look at the engine, or some of the building options on the engine, or not options as such, but some of the bits that we've swapped around, some of the bits that we've painted, some of the bits that we've kept normal for a reason. But let's get this finished, and then let's jump over and have a look at that. Most of the engine is assembled. We got some of them matte greys. This is meant to be that matte grey as well, but it is slightly off colour as per normal. Now, the first thing I want to start with is the glow plugs, because they aren't spark plugs, they are glow plugs. This is the first vehicle I've done that's had these glow plugs instead of spark plugs. They look quite nice, quite like how they turned out. Let's get this engine head cover on. This is in the green to match the body, supposed to be anyway. Let's get this in. In you go. And also we have fuel injectors, slightly different. I have painted them a slightly lighter green, just to sort of coincide with what's going on with this engine. I like how they've turned out. Also, this water pump is in the green, and because of the way it colours, it's actually used both the dark and the light greens on it, which has turned out really nice. We do have this turbocharger to go on here. That is in the matte grey, which I quite like. And then this timing cover, which again has turned out in both colour greens, which has worked out really nicely again. I like this sort of light greens contrasting with the dark greens on the same pieces. And the ignition wires, they are also in that light green. And I just like how that finishes it off, I think. In the engine bay, that's going to look smart. I'm going to get on and get all these idle rollers and stuff and belts on. There isn't much to go on here. I'll get this finished and I'll meet you when it's ready to go inside the car. Engine is all finished, and let's get it dropped into this lovely Land Rover. In you go. Let's get you put away and let's have a look-see. I mean, this is high. I already quite like that. I'm sat a bit high because it's not quite on the ground because it doesn't have any wheels, but I think that looks really smart from what you can see in there. Looking very nice. Let's jump on. Let's get the wheels sorted along with this window tint sorted out as well. Here she is then, the finished Land Rover Defender 90, looking absolutely glorious. Engine has been pumped up with a bit more horsepower, some turbo tuning parts, make it as fast as we can. But all round, I love this. Now, I did just stick with the original Land Rover Defender wheels, mostly because I just wanted them to match what was on the back there. And I think, you know, what they should do. That's how they were designed. So I haven't touched these at all. They are just your standard size wheels, which are the ones available. 265 width, 65 profile, 18 inches. Very easy to do on that. But I do like them. They are nice. I tinted the windows black. I did try this sort of like light greeny yellow colour. It did look quite cool, but the more I looked at it, I just decided it was too much. But that is the Defender. It looks lovely. I absolutely adore how this looks. I love the white interior. I mean, if I was taking this off-roading, I would not want it to have white interior, really. But I have even left it with off-road tyres on, not even put its slicks on for the track. The only thing I don't like is these license plates. I probably should swap them. And I have realised that they have patched it. So since we spoke on Discord about putting in blank license plates, show plates, it looks like they have done that. So I am going to swap these plates out for something slightly better, but I won't do that now. I'll do it in a minute before I sell it and before the pictures. But let's jump in and see what this lovely Land Rover Defender sounds like. Very nice interior. Good job there. That was a weird sound. Weird transition to that sound. Sounds like a proper Defender, though. That is a nice sounding engine coming out of this Land Rover. It even's got a little bit of turbo whistle at the top end, which I like with the grumble of this. Really nice. Let's get it on the dyno and see what it can do. So 123 starting horsepower from this i4 engine, which sounds incredible. Loving that. How much have we increased it by? 51%, 63 horsepower, not the greatest. Only up to 185 total horsepower. That's why I didn't put slicks on it. It will be fine with the off-road tyres because this really does not have much power at all. But let's put it on the track and see what she can do anyway. On the track with the Defender. Let's go. Very slow start. This isn't going to be a fast car at all, I don't think. Nice gear change though. What speed can we get up to? And I may have left that windscreen a bit dark. I only left it at 90% on the black. Thought it would be light enough. It was not. Maybe a bit lower next time. How fast can we get this Land Rover though? I'm hoping for 250 before the end of the runway, but I highly doubt it. We're in 4th gear. We're coming up to 200 now. This is not intense or exciting. There is the 200 mark. Can we get to 250 before the end of the runway? Probably not. Definitely not. What are we going to make it to? That definitely ticks over to 210. So 210 is what I'm sticking with. Happy with that. From this low and slow, well not really low, but very slow Land Rover Defender. So yeah, not the fastest vehicle we've ever had on this channel, with a top speed of 210 kilometers an hour, which does put it 42nd, which is dead last. This is the 42nd Car Mechanic Simulator video we've done. On speed, it is a dead last. It is not the best I've ever seen. Now, a couple of facts and figures about this Land Rover. Obviously, we know a few bits already. For example, I bought it from the auction, although they have fixed it so that they are available in the junkyard and in the barns now, regardless of age. That was on the patch that included number plates without any text on. Have swapped these to the problem at no problem if it's upside down, being a 4x4 vehicle. Thought it was a bit of fun. But let's jump into the actual facts and figures now. Obviously, we did squeeze the tiniest bit of extra horsepower out of that engine, and nothing special. Now it is time to the facts and figures. Now, we did buy the car for $72,773, which wasn't a total rip-off, we'll be honest. And I spent $32,079 buying parts for the car and painting the car today, putting our total spend on the vehicle at $104,852. Which does mean we have made a profit of $21,311. Total sale price of $126,165, even, which is pretty good for this Land Rover Defender. Happy with how it turned out. Was a bit slow, but it isn't a car ever built for speed. It's built for conquering rough terrain, and I think this thing could. We are going to sell it though. It is time to say goodbye to the Land Rover Defender 90. It's been a pleasure working on you. You were a lot of fun. Goodbye to you. Now up next, I'm doing another Mustang. Yes, this is a Ford Mustang, but this isn't any old Ford Mustang. This Mustang here has an electric engine in it. This is an electric engine Mustang. We are going to keep it that way. It has got the Eden 1H engine in it with 620 horsepower. We're going to keep it with that electronic motor. We are going to make this one look cool. There are a lot of body options to go through on the Mustang, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time at going through that, trying to find a fun body configuration to work with. I already like the Mustang. It's already one of my favorite cars. This one's going to be electric. We're going to try and make it as torquey as we can, get it off the line as fast as we can, and hopefully maybe set a new top speed. I haven't ever played with the electric motors on this one yet. This is our first electric engine. I thought, why not revisit a car that I love so much, a Mustang with an electric configuration. You have to tune in next time though to see what we do with that one. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like and consider subscribing if you want to. No pressure. But thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.